Boom! And we are live. Good morning, my friends. Man, it's great to be with you again.
It's great to be alive.
It's great to be alive. Of course it's great to be alive. And it's great to be with you. I hope you're awake, energized, excited, and alive today. How many of you did your, just a quick refresher here, how many of you did your morning rituals this morning? Yeah. Man, the way you start your day determines how the day goes. Love the hoodie. Gotta rock that hoodie, girl. Yeah. Idaho in the winter starting. Gotta have a nice hoodie on.
I thought it was cold here.
We have not busted out the hoodies yet in Georgia.
It's.
Wait, we missed the mic. You muted it.
It's a triathlon one, so you should be a little proud.
I'm a lot proud. That's even better.
That's awesome.
Man, that's nice. Man, I miss doing triathlons. I've been thinking about it lately. It might be time to start hitting some big challenges. Okay, how many of you have moved your body this morning? We're just doing a quick eval here. You moved your body? So I have not moved my body enough this morning because on Wednesdays
Don't hit me if you start moving it right now.
I'm gonna start jumping jacks, smack Rachel. Because on Wednesday morning, I have early morning coaching sessions. So I still got up early, still did my studies, but I've not had a hard work,out in yet. But you guys, we've been doing Krav Maga with our 4 oldest kiddos. It's a martial arts.
Been doing it.
Yeah, I have been doing it with
staying
them.
Home with the 3 days.
And so I've been doing 2-a-days workouts. Do my workout in the morning and then Krav at night, and I'm feeling it, man. It is awesome. So every morning, just this is a reminder, every single morning, hit your morning rituals, routines, nourish your motivation.
At least 20 minutes of moving your body.
Whoa.
At least 20 minutes of meditating, reviewing your goals, praying, studying, and then, at least 20 minutes of studying, reading something inspirational.
Because
20.
Just I'm gonna remind.
Ideally. Right?
That's an ideal.
And then you have a family, so you adjust that as necessary.
But don't use your adjustments.
At least 5 minutes each. Sometimes that's okay.
That's okay. Sometimes it's okay. Don't use your adjustments as an excuse. Don't get up every morning and say, "Well, I have kids, so I can't do it." You gotta get it most of the time. And remember,
today I got those in. The last 2 days I did not get that full amount.
Slacker!
Because ow, stop beating me with your philosophy journal. Because I had kids that were cute that had me up late. Some were teenagers and some were not teenagers.
Love it.
But
nice.
I still did it. It was just a shortened version.
Abbreviated.
Okay? So you go for the ideal and you do less than the ideal when you have to. But you still do it.
Still hit it. Love it. Laura started the insanity workout.
Nice.
Boom! Those are good, man. Insanity workouts are great workouts. Those are fantastic. Get your journals. Use your journals. These are the ones we're selling now, but either you get one of these or create one yourself, but make sure you've got a journal.
Buy one from Walmart.
That you're writing in. You're writing your goals, your dreams, your wisdom, your aha, your insights, because you're going to come across stuff and you're going to have an idea and go, man, that's it. I need to do that. And then that idea disappears and months later you're like, how can I solve this problem? And you're like, you already got the solution. You didn't write it down and implement it.
Or like Greg has done before, and I've done this too, where he'll be looking through something and be like, oh my gosh, I had this idea like 9 years ago. I should have done this. It would have been amazing.
That is so painful when that happens.
So I have my journals, and in them I've written my life mission. I've written my life vision, which means I wrote out in detail what my life looks like, right? With my chateau and my school that I'm creating and, my horse, all this stuff. And then we wrote our life list. We're going to talk about life lists today. And then I also have a section in my journal that's my goals section.
Here's mine.
And I've actually you too. Print out pictures to inspire me of those.
is we want to lead a trip, take our families to go surfing in Portugal next summer. So it's the page number 1 on the goal book. Yeah. So get these journals. So these ones that we're selling, they are luxury leather, handmade
by Greg.
5 booklets in here. So you got 5 categories of life. They are amazing. So they are, Laura's asking how much. They're $49 plus shipping, and they're amazing. Absolutely amazing. So we are.
Well, and I just have to say this because I'm working on it. The inserts right now are just blank. We just got these from Walmart. Not Walmart. Amazon. The inserts. But they're reusable and replaceable. So the cool thing about the inserts is once you fill it up, right, then you can take it out and you can put a new one in.
And you put it on your bookshelf so you have years of
right?
records. It's awesome.
But what I'm working on is actually creating custom inserts. So then it's got the Extraordinary Life Planner in here, and it's got the habit tracker in here, and it's got your philosophy journal in here.
That's and the life wheel.
That's what I'm working on.
And the education framework that she's building.
Don't know when that will be done.
It's going to be amazing. Anyways, okay, so that was just a quick reminder. You guys got to start your days right, because how you start your day determines how the day goes. Who's with me on that? How you start your day determines how the day goes. And my friends, how the day goes is how life goes. Because our life literally is just the sum total of our days. Ooh, that one's gonna hit home today. Our life, your life, is just the sum total of your days. And if your days are kind of blah, and you're saying, well, it's just today. It's just today. It's just today. Then you're going to end up with a very vapid, blah life, because those days will stack on each other. So choose to be excited. In fact, do it right now. Just decide to get excited right now. Yes. Right? You can choose at any moment and be like, no, I'm going to change the emotion. I'm going to change how I choose to give meaning to this experience. And even if you're going through something hard or something difficult or annoying, maybe you have a child that's being particularly annoying.
Or a scurvy elephant, as we like to say. Which is, code for a disturbing element.
Comes from Wayne Dyer. When he was a little kid, the principal called home and said, Wayne is being a scurvy elephant. And he's like, what? What's a scurvy elephant? What he said was a disturbing element. And so he took on that identity of being a scurvy elephant.
So we use that all the time. This kid is a scurvy elephant.
So
right now.
Even if you have a scurvy elephant child, how can you see that differently so it's actually exciting? When I can switch my mindset to a particular challenge or frustration and go, ooh, I like this. This is a chance for me to level up. This is an examination to see how I'm doing with my skills, with my mindset and my skill set, or what we like to call our skillities.
My uncle just the other day saw a quote somewhere and said, oh, this reminds me of Greg. So he told it to me. And it said, attitude is the difference between something being, I'm totally messing it up, but the point was, attitude is the difference between something being an obstacle or an adventure. Was it obstacle or was it a different word?
I don't know, but that's good.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's attitude. It's mindset, right?
Ordeal. Oh, I think that was it.
An ordeal or an adventure.
And being an ordeal or an adventure is your attitude or your mindset.
Isn't that a great quote? So if you've got something, I know a lot of you are trying to build businesses and you're raising kids, and a lot of you doing home education. A lot of you are just living. Most of you are still alive, I think. But in this whole thing, like, is it an ordeal or is it an adventure? Some of you I know have particularly special children who push your buttons, who don't always listen, who tend to operate very differently, right? Who knows what I'm talking about? You got a kid that operates on a different frequency. Yep. Is that kid an ordeal or an adventure? Right? Man, I love this stuff. I love it.
Well, just real quick, I wanted to add, because you were talking about your life is the sum total of your days. And in our morning devotional this morning, which, by the way, we've started recording. We recorded our first one on Monday, and I recorded today's, and I'm working on uploading it. Turns out it's harder than I thought it would be. Anyways, our son, who's 16, was saying that when you ask people how they are, usually they're like, oh, fine, good, right? He's like, why? Why aren't you great? Why aren't you, why aren't things amazing or exciting? And it comes back to this idea that if we're not excited about something every day, if we're not working on something every day, if we're not making every day great, then how can we make our life great, right? We have to work on making each day great in order to create a great life. If you can't do the small things in a great way, then you'll never be able to do the big things in a great way. And a lot of us are eager and anxious to do the big things and do great things, but we can't ever do that unless we do the small things in a great way. That comes from James Allen.
I heard that years ago when I was reading a lot of James Allen, and my justification was, oh, come on, James, you're a little off on this one, buddy. They're just small things. Small things don't matter. Big things matter. I'll do the big things right. Stop with the small things. And that, ironically, was my own small thinking. Do things in a way of greatness, a way of excellence. Oh, I love it. Love it. Okay, got a good question coming in here with private chat. We will hit that in a minute.
It's a coaching thing?
Yeah, it's a coaching thing. So we'll hit that. But today's theme is lifestyle. So remember we went through M.E.T.A.L. M-E-T-L-E is the acronym we use inside the Extraordinary Family Life Formula. And it applies, of course, to every part, every element. It applies to you. It applies to your marriage, your parenting, your family culture, and your family finances. And M.E.T.A.L is mindset, emotions, trust, action, and lifestyle. So L is lifestyle. Lifestyle matters so much, you guys, because even if you had all this other stuff in line, let's say you're in excellent health, you're in the best health of your life. Let's say your marriage is just packed with romance and passion and lots of smooching and dates, and it's fun, and you're best friends and you're dating, and oh man, it's just good. There's spark and wonder. Let's say spiritually you're feeling fantastic, you're reading and learning, great with parenting, connection with the kids, a relationship, it's all awesome. All of that's good, but your lifestyle sucks. Are you going to be fully fulfilled and contented? And I don't think so. I think you're going to be feeling this void of like, wait a minute. And here's what's interesting. There's actually more lifestyle turmoil. That's a term I'm coming up with.
At this moment.
There's more lifestyle turmoil now on our time than any other time in the history of the world, because we have more freedom, more opportunity, more choice. There was a time before where, man, you just spent your whole time working in the fields or hunting or doing whatever, and you moved with the tribe, right? You moved with the environment. When it was really in the industrial age, you went to where the factory was and you worked in the factory like you had no choice. You worked on the farm, you had no choice. And even just a couple of fewer choices. A few generations ago, it was really, if you lived somewhere, you went there because of the work. That is changing so rapidly and so dramatically. We have so many options to choose now. Do you want to live in the city or do you want to live in the country? Or both, right? That's the world we live in. Do you want to live in this country or you want to live in another country? Or both? Do you want to just wander like a nomad again? And the answer to that one for me is yes. And do you want a home base? Uh-huh. Yep. And do I want to have an apartment in a cool city? Yep.
And do I want to do work that I enjoy and I'm excited and passionate about?
Yes.
Yes.
And I get to write my own ticket, right? I get to do life on my terms. That's the coolest thing. There's more opportunity now we get to choose from. It's like a buffet, you guys. We are standing at the life buffet, and some people are still only eating
chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets, man. Why did anyone ever eat those things? They're disgusting. right? But we're still living on chicken nuggets when we have like the most epic possibilities available to us.
Well, I want to go back to this point you made about lifestyle turmoil, and I think you kind of touched on this already. I think this is a legitimate concern for a lot more people nowadays, where things are good in general. Life is good, marriage is good, work is good, all of these things are good. Maybe they're not like amazing, but it's like there's not a whole lot to complain about, maybe, right? Or maybe there's some complaints, but you feel bad complaining about it because
Life's pretty good.
Overall, it's pretty good, right? And this lifestyle turmoil comes in that people aren't even aware of necessarily. They haven't articulated it because they still feel some sort of void. They feel some sort of emptiness. They feel some sort of longing for more, and they don't know why or how or what, or if that's a bad thing.
And they're wondering, why should I be discontent when things are pretty good?
Yeah. Or they feel guilty about being discontent, but because things are pretty good. So the interesting thing is, though, that is actually an important thing to pay attention to and to not ignore. Like, you need to listen to those inner, we call it divine discontent, that inner divine discontent, because it's a key to fulfilling your life mission and living it to its fullest. If you want to live life to the fullest, you have to listen to those inner longings. And you can't, this doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It doesn't mean you're not thankful for what you have. It doesn't mean you can't be content with what you have, But you can be content. In fact, we talked about this in the devotional today, too, with the kids. You can be content and discontent at the same time. You can be grateful and want more at the same time.
In fact, truly deep gratitude compels you to keep improving and growing.
And achieving more and doing more. Right? So we have to learn to pay attention to that. If we feel this discomfort in a way, notice it, pay attention to it, and try to identify what it is and what it is leading you to, because it's leading you to another level. It's leading you to another treasure, right? It's like a treasure hunt.
It is. Life is this epic treasure hunt adventure. So let's do a little celebrating together. We can throw it in the chat box here or on the mic. What are some lifestyle things you currently have that you just love? And it may be a chance right now to be like, I've kind of been taking that for granted. What are some lifestyle things you have in your life right now that you just love? You just celebrate. They're absolutely fantastic.
I'm grateful we can work from home and we work together.
Yes. You know what it's like every day to have a coworker this attractive? It's quite distracting, actually. Yes, I love working from home. I love having my books out, man. You know how many years I wandered the earth and at best I had some books in a suitcase?
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice. I'm leading a trip for men in a week. Oh, yeah, baby. I love that. Going on these epic adventures.
Oh, yeah, it's next weekend.
It's next weekend. No, it's next weekend. And, I'm going to do those every 4 months. And the next one I was daydreaming about this morning, actually not daydreaming, like envisioning it. We're going to go climb a big old mountain in Mexico and then another one in Ecuador. And, oh man, just makes my heart flutter.
Not the same trip.
No.
Those are two different trips. Right?
Yeah, 2 different trips. You can come on both. And for those, you don't even have to be a man. You could be a whoa man. No, I'm going to open that up for youth and adults. But like, what are the things that you just love? What lifestyle piece do you have?
Where are we advertising these trips? On World School Academy. And in fact, what's up is not accurate. I'm going to change it today, probably.
Yeah.
You didn't see the men only one? Yeah, that was
because we didn't advertise it.
We didn't
Like
advertise
some of our trips, you guys fill up so fast. Like our backpacking trip, the men's trip filled up so fast, we don't even have to advertise. we just mentioned it to a couple people and boom, they're full. So exciting
Some of them
things
are
are
like
happening. Okay, let's see. Let's catch up. So we go on camping. We go camping several times a month, and we love it. Nice, right? Getting in nature as a family. So great for our whole families at home, working, studying, and learning together, right? Amazing lifestyle benefit that wasn't always available. Love having great trails to cycle on every day. Man, Nathan, I missed that one. We have to drive over to the woods, and they're okay. We have fun, but
Not like
just because we're making the most of them, not because they're epic. But I want to get to a place where that's that way. Working from home, reading to my children. Yeah, wintertime is my favorite time. We make a fire. It's coming now. It's getting cold enough. We put a fire in the fireplace.
It's getting like 50. It's like
and then we read together at night. It's the best. Discussing scriptures as a family, family culture, visiting, talking together every evening, working from home as well. Love that. Planning a family trip to visit family and do family history in Switzerland.
Fun.
Yes.
Switzerland's awesome.
Oh, I love that country. Homeschooling, living on my little farm.
Yeah.
Love it. Love the stages and ages of my kids right now.
Mm-hmm.
So do we. Yes, we got 18 to 3, and it is a blast. Oh my goodness. I guess we have the whole range. We have the whole range.
The babies.
Oh, I miss the babies. We should get one. We should get a baby just so we have the whole range because I miss babies.
Mm-hmm.
They're best. Rachel's like, I can't even sleep with the 3-year-old.
I know. I like sleeping.
Thankful for homeschooling, the amount of time we spend together. Think of what a blessing that is. Sometimes I know you want to wring each other's necks, and in all honesty, in all sincerity here, please get time away from your kids and your family. I'm being sincere. Do it. Especially you moms. Sometimes you think,
I'm going for
I should never
today.
be away. See, and then Rachel goes and schedules a massage for herself, and like, I have to stay behind and watch the kids.
You're going to be working or whatever.
I'll be working. It's the same as a massage. But schedule time away.
Schedule your own massage if you want.
That's it. I'm scheduled. I need to find a little Thai lady that can torture my limbs. So do it. Schedule time away. Get away, okay? Especially you moms. Get away. You've got to have time away because you'll appreciate time together even more.
Go sit at Starbucks or Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, just goes. Yeah, Barnes and Noble. Go find a bookstore and just sit there because you can. Oh, I love that stuff. Yeah, but time together is such a blessing. Please cherish it. If it's flying by, it'll be gone. It's beautiful. Okay, just got back from traveling for a month with the kids. Oh, that's awesome. Schooling along the way, visited family, Yellowstone, Mount Rushmore. Cool. Nice. I haven't even been to Rushmore yet, man. Whoa, that's awesome. Okay.
Yellowstone's awesome.
And Yellowstone, yeah, Yellowstone's amazing. Okay, super cool. That piece was just kind of celebrating some of the lifestyle we have. Now, the next piece is even more important. Please write down in your own study journals, your notebooks, and then share with us, what are some lifestyle pieces that are missing? Where are you feeling or experiencing a little bit of lifestyle turmoil? What do you want in your life that you do not yet have? You kind of feel the void.
We haven't left the country for
a long daggum time.
Over a year.
Oh, these stinking people in their borders. You guys, I didn't even tell Rachel this. I'm about to break the news to Rachel.
Wow.
Yesterday, I went to buy something on Facebook Marketplace. So you get sweet deals and cool things. Oh, she knew about table saw. Oh, surprise. What she didn't know is I bought it from a Brazilian couple. And they were super cool. And you know what they told me? Brazil has now removed the visa requirement for Americans. What? Yeah. Wow. Isn't that awesome? It used to be like $125 a pop. And visa requirements to get into Brazil. Now you just roll in. So new president, new rules. So I was pretty stoked about that. I was like, what? I'm booking trips to Brazil right now. And with 7 kids, that was a big tag on a big price tag on the visas. Okay. So go ahead and share them in the chat box or on mic. You guys can jump on mic and you can speak if you'd like. What are the lifestyle pieces that are missing? Something you would like to add or even remove? Maybe you have some lifestyle stuff you want to remove. You're like, this happens all the time and I don't want it to happen anymore. So let's share. Here we go. Lifestyle pieces that are missing would be going on adventures as a family and alone time with my husband. Oh, yeah. Okay, can I do a little coaching? Y'all ready for this? So my first question is,
I should
why?
be like a DJ and like hit the play button when you say stuff. Y'all ready for this? Dun, dun, dun.
Why has that not been happening yet? And this applies to Allison and to all of you. Please realize, now you know, now it's out. Everything you put in this list, I'm gonna be like, why aren't you doing that? Why is that not happening on a regular basis? Whose fault is it? Take total ownership for this. Are you guys, maybe, I don't know if I warmed you up enough yet, but it's coaching time. Like, here we go. Hope you were expecting it because it's coming.
You can't blame COVID. My aunt says COVID has ruined her life. And I'm like, no, it hasn't ruined mine. I don't even think about COVID. Like, I lived my life. Right?
Except that we were just complaining about not leaving the country.
Okay. But that's our own fault.
We should have just owned it and gone to Tanzania anyways, because they never closed.
We could have gone to Tanzania.
Boom.
We chose not to.
Yeah, you're right. COVID gave us perspective. It was a great game changer, and we can use it for our benefit instead of our bemoaning. Okay, so I love that one, Allison. Love, love, love it. More adventures with family and alone time with husband. Will you all please do this or else? Will you all please, I'm giving you this challenge. Ready? Spaghetti? By Sunday.
This goes with that too.
Okay, so yeah. So Emily said the same thing. We need more adventure and experiences that shake up our normal. Okay.
It's kind of interesting in a way, actually, because you're right. COVID gave us perspective. It gave all of us perspective. And I think for us, we did get more perspective into a normal life. There honestly wasn't a lot of things that changed for us, except that we couldn't like leave the country. Well, couldn't. Yeah.
All the countries we had on our list, we literally had plans to go. They all got closed. So.
Well, no, not all of them, because Mexico technically didn't close.
True.
You could have gone.
We didn't have Mexico on the list though.
You were going to Mexico. Tanzania, we could have gone. So we did stay home, and really though, nothing else changed for us in a whole lot of ways, because we live and work from home and school from home. We don't go out that often. We order all our groceries online, they're delivered. So unless we go out to like travel, we usually are at home. So quarantine was like, oh, this is our more normal life, right?
I did ask my kids about this. I didn't tell you. I asked the older kids about it, like, how's it been? And they're like, you know what? We missed the adventure, but it's been really cool to do skill development.
Yes.
They talked about how much their skills have increased because they've had months to just dig in and really work on mastering their craft, from guitar to art, drawing, to other instruments. They're doing the lessons, and it's really been cool. So that was good.
Yeah. So I guess that's the one thing we did learn, is that when you don't, no matter what, you always have control over your mindset and your attitude. Like, that's what Viktor Frankl taught, right? He was in a concentration camp. And the one thing they can't take away from you is your, how do you word it?
Your attitude of mind.
Attitude of mind was how he worded it. So when you are limited from doing other things and having adventures in other ways, you can still have an adventure here. And that includes,
that sounds so funny.
I know it sounds
but
weird,
it's true.
but that includes like the skills development type stuff. It includes like mastering things, like really digging into things and really getting good at things. That's one aspect of it, is that there's always a way to have the adventure, even in small ways.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, this is sweet. So I'm gonna read one more comment because it all fits together. So Shannon said, during our trip, I realized that that's what has been missing. Yes. Getting out and about, exploring, finding even close by awesomeness.
Yes.
Yes, well said. Very well said. Okay, so here's my challenge. Ready? By Sunday, please write this down. Please hold yourself accountable. I'm going to, you know how a good salesman will always assume the sell? I'm just going to assume the commitment here that you all are voluntarily committing. So by Sunday, I want to challenge you to have an adventure on the calendar. Schedule it, because what gets scheduled gets done. By Sunday, I want you to add an adventure to your calendar. You don't have to actually do it by Sunday, although some of you probably could. But I want you to have an adventure on your calendar by Sunday. And number 2, I want you to have a getaway with your spouse on the calendar.
Does that include us?
We will add more. Rachel's outlining this epic adventure through Mexico and Guatemala. We're going to be gone for months. It's going to be so exciting and wonderful. So she's planning all that.
We are planning a Galapagos.
And for our 20th anniversary, we're going to get a cruise on a sailboat around the Galapagos Islands. So that's on the calendar. Yeah, baby. Woo! But we need to add more. We'll add more. More adventures, more getaway time. You gotta have alone time.
I just meant like a getaway.
If it's not happening, whose fault is it? Now, if you're thinking right now that it's Trump or the elections or the government or Bill Gates, stop, man. Stop blaming other people. Take ownership. Like, hey, if I had a getaway, if we had not had an overnighter as a couple recently, own that stuff, man. Take ownership right now. In fact, when was the last time you had an overnighter? It's been too long for us. We did stay in a tent, just the 2 of us, with 29 other people nearby on the backpacking trip. That was a little getaway.
Yeah.
And then they came and slept in the gear tent right next to us because their hammock broke. It was funny. Anyways, will you guys please do that? Can I at least get a little head bobble? Will you put an adventure on the calendar and an overnighter? Schedule it and do it. If it's a budget thing, go cheap, man. Go camping. Borrow a tent from the neighbor and go camp somewhere nearby. You live in the city, be careful. There are other people that are camping in the city, and they're usually not real safe to camp near. But do something, please. Yeah, we end on that? Here we go. Next. So we're going back to the list of lifestyle things we want, right? The kind of the lifestyle turmoil. Another one is a home that is in order, not cluttered. Ooh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. It makes a difference.
Let Marie Kondo be your friend. Okay?
That's right.
Invite Marie Kondo over
On
every
Netflix.
evening via Netflix. Have your children and your spouse watch it, and then go through and get rid of truckloads of stuff.
Or watch Hoarders at the same time.
Oh man, we do that with our kids. We watched some Marie Kondo and we watched some Hoarders. You should have seen our kids. They were just like, I'm never doing that.
Like, see what happens when you don't clean up?
Give them the contrast. Give them the contrast. No, get your houses in order. Get rid of the clutter. It's so good.
It always has a direct effect on my mental and emotional feelings, I guess.
Isn't that awesome?
A cluttered house affects me mentally and emotionally.
And it's a lifestyle piece.
And I can tell when my house is disordered, my mind feels more disordered, and I feel more stressed. And it's not like an OCD thing. It's like there's a connection between your space and your body.
Ooh, your space and your state.
Yeah, your space and your state.
Yeah, there's a connection between your space and your state.
So sometimes when I'm feeling off, or I'm feeling whatever, I'm lacking clarity or commitment or consistency or any of those things, I clean, because I'm like, I got to get stuff organized. I clean out closets and like organize and get rid of stuff. And that, honestly, there's a direct connection. It helps you get clear. and clarity and clean. Like you're not just cleaning out your house, you're cleaning out your thoughts and emotions and all of that too. Sounds weird, but it's true.
But it's so true. So
This isn't just
true.
my philosophy.
Clear your stuff. And we usually don't think of that as a lifestyle piece, but it totally is. In fact, you guys want to do something real quick? Hot diggity dog, you ready for next level?
Or what?
Well, watch this. I want you to walk around your house today, and I want you to notice all the things that feel below you, that like seem
that aren't inspiring,
old or dirty or ugly or
beautiful,
poor. They just seem like you've outgrown them, and they're just like, they don't make you feel great.
It doesn't make me feel like my best self. It doesn't lift me up.
Maybe it's that old shirt you've been holding on to. You're just like, oh, pair of pants. You're like, yeah, but I've had these forever, no sense getting rid of them. But you put them on, you just feel kind of sloppy. Maybe it's this old piece of ratty furniture and you haven't want to replace it, but it's just bleh. You know what I'm talking about? It might just be that window you've needed to clean for 17 years and you've never cleaned the dadgum thing. Get the ladder out and clean the window. Hire one of your kids, man.
We need a ladder to clean some of our windows.
Yeah, some of our windows require like a 50-foot ladder.
Yeah.
But yeah, the piles of paper, exactly.
Right? That's another thing. I'll go through my office and like go through all the papers and sort them, get rid of them, like do them. That makes a big difference when you like complete stuff. That's actually directly connected though. Here is this idea that what's really happening in a cluttered space is there's a lot of unfinished projects, and all this unfinishedness actually is weighing on you mentally, physically, emotionally. So when you can finish things and clear them out, Greg uses this analogy with his coaching clients all the time. You're clearing the runway. Like you can't take off and achieve your dreams because the runway is blocked with all these unfinished projects. So when you go through the piles of paper and you go through the closet and you go through all this stuff and you either get rid of the projects or you finish them, you are literally clearing space mentally, emotionally, physically for you to then make progress and take off. So
yes,
like that's a real thing you should do. Is you can't build your dream life if your current life is cluttered.
Write that down, people. You can't build your dream life if your current life is cluttered. If your runway is just covered with refuse, you can't get going. It's all junk. Oh, yeah, do the filing. I hate the filing. Ooh, so
I love to file things in the garbage can.
So I hate the filing. I keep putting it off later. So here's the point, right? You got to get to a point where, I reread. I wrote it this morning. Hold on, and I reread it just this morning. Oh, here it is. Ready? I wrote it for weeds. You got to get to the point where you hate having weeds more than you hate pulling weeds. Right? So you got to get to a point here where you hate the clutter more than you hate filing. You have to raise the necessity, right? Getting rid of the stuff. Take a truckload of junk.
And eventually that gets to the point where it just becomes automatically. It becomes automatic that you have this system that you can file as you go, like you just organize as you go so that it doesn't get to this big cluttered point.
Love it. Okay, a couple more things in the chat here. My kids have not been to another country. That really bothers me. So you want to get international with the family. That's fantastic. Go through the list. We're going to hit that in just a second here. Go through the list of things that you want to do with your kids and make sure they experience before they move out. Otherwise, when kids grow up, you guys know this. They grow up and they grow up fast. You miss that opportunity. You miss that window. It's gone, friends. I mean, you can invite your kids to move back in for a while, but that might be really weird. But take advantage of it. And financial security is another lifestyle piece. taking care of my health issues. Fantastic. I have a doctor appointment today so I can be more active and adventurous with my family. Ooh, 25th anniversary, a little cabin in Tennessee in May. Yeah. Woo! Nice. 1 month, hubby took me to Betty McDonald's farm for our anniversary for a weekend on a rural island. Love it. Okay, may I get serious and emotional for a minute right now. Gosh. A wonderful woman in this group she's been going through all of this and watching the videos, doing the training, made some huge, positive, wonderful shifts in her life with her mindset, getting her family in order, her business in order, changing her mindset towards her marriage and really dedicating time to that. She overcame some postpartum depression without medication, just made some massive shifts by being a part of this group. And she and I did some one-on-one coaching sessions to help her really get dialed in. She's making progress. It was awesome. She's just really making massive positive shifts in her life. And then we started working on like, let's get your health dialed in. Let's get your energy levels way up. And she was just like, oh, I'm just dragging. Like I'm doing all the things you're saying and I'm still not feeling great. What is up? And so she went to the doctor, went and got some blood work, and her iron was low. And she's like, I still don't feel great. I'm taking the iron. It's just not responding well. And if you're watching this, we love you. We're praying for you. Last week, she found out she has colon cancer. And she's got 2 little ones at home. But she's in a very positive place, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, to face this and conquer it. And when I received her email, just my heart and thoughts and prayers went out to her and her family and to all of you. And just a reminder, my friends, how precious, how absolutely precious life is. How much all of this matters. This isn't just for kicks and giggles. This stuff matters. Let's remember that. Remember how much it matters. Remember how much you matter. How much your marriage matters. How much your parenting matters. How much your family lifestyle matters. You with me? Anybody? Come on, man. Let's take this stuff seriously, right? And let's have fun. Let's enjoy life, but don't let another day pass by with thinking, I'll get to that later. Live today.
And I think it's also important to pay attention to your life, your body, how you feel, because one thing we said was like, man, I am so grateful that she met with you and you encouraged her to get some things checked out because she's trying to raise her energy levels. It's not working. Well, there's a deeper issue here. Now, if she had never gotten that checked out, my dad, you guys know, I think my dad had colon cancer, but it got to the point where he was very, very sick before he ever went in to get checked. My dad was not healthy. He did not eat well. He did not exercise. He struggled with a lot of anxiety and depression and things. He wasn't aware until it was too late. So thankfully, she has been made aware. I don't think it's too late at this point. But that's kind of one of the things, like, we like to put it off because we think we're too busy or we don't have the money or this or that, all these different reasons. But if we don't pay attention to how we're feeling, what we're thinking, how our energy levels are, like, it's a big deal, because that is chronic. Those types of things, our thoughts, our feelings, they're not just affecting our life and our relationships, they're affecting our body, they're affecting our health. Those are the things that cause disease. So if we're not aware of it and if we're not working on changing it, one, we might not know before it's too late. And two, we're not working on preventing it, which is, I think, what all of us want to do. We want to prevent this. Like, that has become a part of my life mission. Because my dad was diagnosed with colon cancer a week after we met and then died 2.5 years later, like, that drastically altered my life. And I'm committed and devoted to health and fitness because I am going to prevent that. It's not going to happen to me because I'm going to prevent it. So it's just another great reminder that it matters. All of it matters. We have to pay attention to us as a being and how we feel and what we think and all these things, because it's helping us live our best lives and prevent the stuff we don't want.
This is my pulpit and I'm pounding it, people. I'm feeling it right now. This is also a really great time to commit to remove sugar from your life. I'm throwing that out there. I'm dropping that hammer. Sugar is legit, it's an inflammatory. And it causes
disease.
inflammation in your cells, and cells that are inflamed are vulnerable to disease and illness. I'm not kidding. Like,
so anything
just commit right now to a sugar fast
to remove inflammation is going to help you be healthier.
Yep.
Almost 3 weeks sugar-free. Way to go.
Yeah.
Good job, Allison.
Nicely done. That is fantastic. Get after it, you guys. Get after it. Take it seriously. Okay. Good stuff. So these lifestyle pieces you want, will you please take action on them soon? Just pull the trigger, take action, like ready, fire, aim. You might not be like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to figure that out. Like, just pull the trigger, just go. Like, plan that trip that you're like, I don't know if we can pull it off. Just put it on the calendar and figure out a way to make it happen. If you want to get, declutter the house, or you want to, switch up the way you do your mornings or the way you do your evenings or the way you do your weekends, like, switch it up, go for it, try it. Just start experimenting with it. And some of it will work out, some of it won't work out. That's okay. Just start trying. Don't wait any longer to add or remove lifestyle pieces that are causing lifestyle turmoil, right? Oh, that's cool, Emily. Thanks for sharing that. Why We Get Sick by Ben Bickman. Cool. And we love, Rachel and I love a book called Superhuman. It is an excellent book on this.
He talks a lot about disease prevention.
Yeah, and aging and disease and aging. So it's great books. Okay.
I just want to add, I guess, the whole quantum physics side of it, because I like quantum physics. That the more we take action on the things we want, the more we create more of the things we want. It's only when we get stuck in these ideas of, I can't do it, I can't afford it, there's too many obstacles, that we then create more of that, right? So whatever we think about and whatever we tell ourselves and whatever we do or don't do creates more of the same. So if we want to change something in our lifestyle, we have to take more of those kind of actions in order to get those kind of results. One extreme example, which I'll use, which, is extreme, was years and years ago when Greg and I started out on this nomadic family traveling journey, right? We wanted to figure out a way to travel full time with a family. Like, that was our dream. And there were more than one occasion, at least two that I can think of, where Greg turned down $100,000 a year jobs because it was not going to help us create a traveling lifestyle. So one time he got offered for an offer for a job that was like $100,000 a year plus commissions plus all this stuff,
like a shoe allowance, clothing allowance.
This was the first one. And we turned it down, sold my wedding ring, and bought one-way tickets to the Dominican Republic instead. No job, no nothing. We just did it and thought, we'll figure it out. Well, now it turned out it was a great experience, but it wasn't a successful funding experience. We spent all of our money and had to come back to the States. Then got another job offer there for $100,000 plus a year job with a shoe allowance, a car, all this stuff. Turn that down to accept a $25,000 a year job teaching or working for with a nonprofit in India. Okay. So like these are extreme examples, but this is the way we live our life. If it's not going to help us create the lifestyle we want, we don't do it. We just don't. We take action towards the lifestyle we want, and that's how we create the lifestyle we want. Not by taking action towards things that aren't going to support that lifestyle. Bless you.
Excuse me.
So, you know, that is an extreme example, but it perfectly illustrates the point, I think, that you have to know what the lifestyle is you want and then take those kinds of actions. And not take the other kind of actions and think that's going to create what you want. It doesn't work that way.
Ooh, so insightful. I almost feel like we need to tell those stories with a disclaimer. Please do not try this at home.
Or do, but
Or
you're
do
not
it.
responsible.
Yeah, we're not responsible for your outcomes, but do it. Just go. Man, just try. Like go boldly in the direction of your dreams. Think about what you want. Dream about what you want. Write about what you want. And then start doing things that move you towards that.
This is a good question.
What do you do if you and your spouse have very different ideas of what you want for a lifestyle?
Greg and I
Just
have very different
straight
ideas.
tell him how it is. Just kidding. Don't. That won't go over well.
Well, Greg and I actually have very different ideas of what we want for a lifestyle.
We do?
Well, yes, and in lots of different ways. But the cool thing is, if you're just like, a lot of people get nervous, and I can get this with your spouses, they get nervous talking about these ideas because they think if you talk about them, that means they're going to happen.
And it starts to feel really vulnerable.
And it starts to feel uncomfortable and, yeah, vulnerable. But just because you talk about it doesn't mean it's going to happen. You're just talking, right? Now,
and I don't have to have a whole bunch of emotional involvement while she's talking.
Yeah, I can be like, well, no, I want to do this, and I want to live here, and I want to.
Like, dude, that's so stupid. Why are you such a?
And in our minds,
dumb things.
Our minds, we're thinking what that means, and we're picturing this worst case scenario or whatever, and we're like, oh, I don't want that. Like that's scary. So for one part of it is like, you're not committed to anything you talk about. Like you can talk about it all you want, and it doesn't mean you're committed to it. The other cool thing is as you do that, as you go through this, and tell that to your spouse, just be like, hey, hon, you know what? It doesn't mean it's happening. We're talking. We're just talking through it. We're just imagining possibilities.
Let me interject here. I want that. I want to know everything that lights her up. I want to know her dream. I don't want it to be my dream. I'm not sitting here like, I hope she says things that I want to do. Come on. Or like, I don't know why I remember. I never really watched The Simpsons, but there was one time where Bart bought Homer bought his wife a bowling ball in his size for her birthday, right? And it was just like, that's just iconic. Like, I'm asking her what she wants to do, hoping that she'll say what I want to do. I genuinely want to know what her dream is. I want to know her. And if she wants to do something that I have no interest in, I'm still interested in her. And that's how we're going to work through that.
I can do it on my own, or he can decide to go along just to support me, or I can do it with someone else. Like there's enough life to be lived that you can live both of your dreams, even if they're not the same. But the other cool thing I wanted to say is that often what happens is you end up finding where the connections are,
where
the similarities are. Greg loves adventure and the outdoors, and I love shopping and fine restaurants. So that's why we picked the French Alps of where we want to live, right? Because it has the outdoors and the adventure, and in 2 hours you're in Paris, and in an hour you're in Lyon, and there's all the shopping you want, an hour in Geneva. So it's like, that was the intersection of our two different worlds and dreams. Does that make sense? So in our minds, we think, oh, if he wants this and I want this, there's no way we could create the lifestyle of our dreams because it's not possible.
So
and really,
well,
the more you explore these ideas, the more you realize, oh, this actually interacts
so much intersection.
perfectly, and it's even better than we thought of.
And I hate shopping, right? So I'm like, okay, I like what?
You like your certain kind
my
of
shopping. I like my shopping.
Gear
if
shopping.
we go to like REI,
and love shopping in like.
Okay, well, that's where I was gonna go. There is one place, a couple places where I love to shop. The old markets, these gigantic old markets, like in Morocco or Thailand, in Bangkok, right?
We've been to both those markets.
Holy guacamole! I could stay weeks in there. I could just like stay the night, get up, buy some more food, get a foot massage, go back and do some more shopping. Like in those places, that's cool shopping. So we love to do that together. If she wants to go down, I'm like, I disconnect. I'm sitting in the corner, like, I'll bring a book. Oh man, it just kills me, right?
I don't take him shopping.
But fine restaurants?
I go shopping with my aunt.
We like fine restaurants. So yeah, she'll go with her aunt. She'll go with the kids, go with friends, whatever. But we're like, okay, you do a shopping trip. And then I love big adventures. And sometimes she wants to come. I want her to come as often as she wants to. Sometimes she's like, you know what? Go do that one on your own. It's a bit much, right? If it has anything to do with cold weather and cold water, she's like, you got this one. Send pictures. Really exposed places. And she does not like exposure.
We did that.
We found out
a couple months ago in Utah, and
she was uncomfortable.
It didn't help that there was an emergency and he had to do first aid, and I was left by myself on the side of a cliff. But
it's really good for her.
It was good for her.
Okay, so
point being, like,
talk about it. Explore.
All right, great. So you want different things, like talk through it and figure it out, and all of that.
And on this point, let me make this. If I demand Rachel to always do what I want to do, her whole life with me, she's going to feel a little bit unfulfilled. And I don't want that, because she's not going to be her best self. And so at some point, she's got to pursue some of her passions and dreams and interests. It can't be neglectful or destructive to the family or a marriage, but she's got to be her. And I've got to be me. And when I'm being my best self and she's being her best self, guess what that does to our marriage? It's exciting and romantic and more kissy, right? It's just, it lights us up. We need to be lit up like that. Okay. So,
more expounding.
The big one is that I would love to be location independent and have our work, school, etc. be home-based. He loves going to work, loves his job. The result is that I do it alone while he is gone, devotionals, homeschool, spiritual learning, etc. Right? So great. Thanks for sharing that. So the way to approach that then is start looking for any kind of intersection, right? Is there any crossover? Evenings, right? Comes home from work and evening devotionals, evening engagement, reading with the kids, discussions. Or maybe it's just like, okay, you go to work, I do home, you do work on the weekends. And often we are taking trips. We're having adventures we love. And that's when it's the whole family, all hands on deck. But maybe there's some division there. Like I love doing this thing and you love doing this thing. And maybe you just take ownership of that space, each of you. But then you've got to find that common ground where there's crossover. You're like, okay, we hit this.
And sometimes it might feel a little frightening, but sometimes you need to just go ahead and move forward with what it is you want to do. Knowing that often once the other person sees what that looks like, then it becomes a little bit less scary sometimes, and it looks more fun. And they're like, oh, I think I want to be a part of this, right? I know moms who, even though they want to be location independent, they want to do the stuff, and they will go off and travel, and they'll do stuff,
take the kids and
take the kids, and that's an option, because it doesn't, if the spouse really is not interested or is attached to this thing, you have to either, one, show them what it looks like and that it can be fun and something they want to be a part of.
You guys, that is huge. You've got to help them catch the vision of what it could be like.
Yeah, because one of the reasons people often get a hang up is because you say something and they're envisioning this. While you're saying it, you're envisioning this.
Yes.
So you're actually envisioning different things. So they're saying no to this and you're saying yes to this. And you're like, why aren't they saying yes to this? It's because this is what they see. This is what they imagine, whatever it is you're describing. You're saying location independent, and they're imagining, oh my gosh, I have to work from home with the kids climbing all over me, and like,
no,
I have to try and work in a hotel. Like, oh, this just sounds horrible, right? But if you show them what that looks like, either through more discussion, either by actually just doing it,
booking a sweet Airbnb where he has an office to work from and gets to go fishing in the evenings. I'm just throwing this out there.
Especially if you find out what he wants to do, right? Or other extreme, you create the location independent income for you. Become location independent yourself. And then take the kids and, you know,
and then when he says, I can't afford this, you're like, I got this, babe.
I'll pay for it.
I got this. This trip is on me. The whole month, you can take off, do whatever you want. And I know you've always wanted to go see Alaska, so we'll actually go and we'll have this big adventure, do all this stuff, so you can do some of this too. Like with other couples we worked with for years, it's like, you know, if one of them's hesitant, go to a place they want to go and have experience they want to have, and you're addressing the fears and skepticisms and concerns
through it,
and you work through it all. I've seen this done with husbands. So the wife will go like, hey, we're going on a 3-week trip with the kids, and he's like, I can only get a week off. I'll come for that week. Well, during that week, it's amazing, right? And he's like, wow, this isn't what I had imagined. This is amazing.
It's actually cool.
I want to be able to do more of this.
There's usually one of two things that happens. If you have something that you really want, you either, one, give up on it because you can't get other people to see it or go along with it, or two, you start pursuing it even without support, and people start getting on board as they see, oh wow, this is actually kind of cool. Oh, okay, I'm understanding it now. So you have to move forward. You can't wait until other people support your dream. You can't wait until they're on board with it. You can't wait until they give you the go ahead. And that includes your spouse sometimes. And that's been the case with both of us. Greg was not interested in moving to this house. Okay. No interest at all.
Still not interested.
He wanted to just keep being a nomad. My vision was I want to be a home base traveler, right? So I started pursuing that. And at some point he came along. Now,
wait, is that indicative of we're doing what you want?
We do what I want to do.
She said, this is the way things will be.
No,
are you coming with us?
What I'm saying is that and I guess this is beyond just what we want, because there's another aspect that comes into what actually, well, I guess you could say what God wants for you, or what, you know, what your path is. This was a part of our path, and he admits that. He may not want to be here per se, but he knows it's a part of our path. I felt more strongly about that in the beginning. That's how we ended up here, because I made it happen. Now, we had discussions and disagreements about that along the way, but ultimately, either it won't work out because it's not meant to be, right? And I know that that's a hard line, because I know that we teach, you know, you make things happen, but there is also this aspect of, yeah, there's certain things that won't work out because they're not meant to be. But if it's something that's supposed to be, it will work out. So I pursued it until I knew, one, it's supposed to be and it's going to happen, or no, I need to let go of that idea, right? That's another thing. Like, you could pursue it and then realize, well, actually, it's more like this, or it's this, or it's that. But it's not until you move forward taking the action that you begin to have those realizations, right? You have to move forward.
Clarity comes on the move, people.
Yeah, you have to be clear about what it is you desire and take action on that. And then more clarity comes. Either that, yes, it's something that we need to make happen, or no, it's actually something over here. Are you getting that? You with me here?
Love it. This is good stuff. Okay, thanks for that question. Thanks for exploring. I imagine many of you might have similar frustrations about different visions or perspectives. Keep working, keep exploring, crossover, intersection. You guys be willing to be super creative and innovative. Look for options, alternatives. The vast majority of the time, people are resistant because they either don't catch the vision, or they're afraid, or they're insecure. Rachel didn't want to come on adventures with me because she had a different idea of what it looked like, right? She was really resistant. So we just have to keep working through it and keep looking for alternatives. There's a way to work this out where it's win-win, right? This happened, another quote here, or another comment here. This happened in my family. I wanted to travel overseas. My husband didn't like the idea of leaving the US. I got him to go to Puerto Rico as a compromise, right? There's an easy step over. Because it's technically still part of the US now, he's decided to travel all over. We just got to get our finances to match our ambition now. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Excellent example.
That's a great example.
Excellent example.
Yeah.
Find that compromise and like, whoa.
We're not saying it's gonna be easy. Like, it's not gonna be easy. We'll just be upfront. It's gonna be hard. Like we have.
It doesn't have to be hard. Some things will be easier than you think, but some things will be challenging.
Yeah. I guess the point is it's not without obstacle.
We love obstacles. Are you kidding me? In this group, we're like, obstacles are the best.
And I'm talking about legitimate obstacles, health issues, money, differing opinions. There are legitimate obstacles. So we haven't created the life of our dreams, which, is what we have, because it was easy. Like, we've faced a lot of legitimate obstacles along the way, but the point is you continue to move forward and get more clarity and have more discussions. Like, yeah, you figure things out, you work things out, and you figure out what it is you both want. And of course, then there's always the next level, right? Once you get the thing you think you want and you've achieved it, that's awesome, that's great. But the real joy and fulfillment comes from pursuing something. So then it just begins again. Like, we're always doing this on another level. In fact, we're working on the next level now of like, okay, what's the next level? Because that's where the fulfillment comes from, when figuring out how to get that next dream. That's the exciting part.
Oh, I love it. Love this stuff. Okay, should we save that for some videos?
Oh, wow. Yeah. We can talk about it real
do
quick.
Coaching.
And do the coaching for the question. We had a question way up here.
Yeah. Well, we'll do more coaching.
Yeah.
So we do that? Save that for the videos? We got something so... Okay, I'll introduce real quick and I'll do some videos on it. So, so there I was. Just kidding. It wasn't me at all. It was this little boy. He was 15 years old, lived with his parents in California.
That's not a little boy.
15 is still little. So as a 15-year-old boy, he overheard his dad's friends say something to the effect of, we've lived our whole life and never really done anything we actually wanted to do. Let that hit home. He's sitting there as a young man. He overhears his dad's adult friends say, we've never actually done anything we really wanted to do in life. And as a 15-year-old boy, he said, I am not going to let that happen to me. So he sits down at his parents' kitchen table in California in, I think it was like the 40s or 50s. Because he died in 2013 and he was like in his 80s. That's an awesome guy. Anyways, so he writes down on that day on his parents' kitchen table, he wrote down 127 major goals that he wanted to live. Okay, this was like climbing all the biggest mountains in the world. It was exploring all the major rivers on the earth. Start to finish? Yeah, from source to mouth. He took 3 months and explored the Nile in canoes, man. And on day one, they got attacked by a bull hippopotamus and it broke their canoe and they lost all their gear. And they're like, well, oh well, it's an adventure. Let's go. And they did it, right? The guy was a real life, like Indiana Jones. It was unbelievable. And he wrote books and flew airplanes and became fluent in French and Spanish and Arabic and had 6 children. That was one of his goals. He had a big family and he learned to fly an airplane and like even to little things like lighting a match with a .22 rifle. I mean, just He did all kinds of cool stuff. Anything you think of, it was awesome. Studying all these primitive things and taking up close pictures of all these wild animals and exploring all these cool places and experiences, reading all the great works of the best authors and thinkers, and being able to recognize all the greatest composers and being familiar with their work, and on and on and on, right? Amazing. But he created a life list. And I'll do videos on this to walk through it, but I want to challenge you to sit down and make a life list. And then print it out. I got mine right here.
So we did this. Greg and I actually did this
We did it years ago.
And I actually found my old life list that I made from like 2005. It was kind of crazy.
She wanted to have 12 children by the age of 37. Totally failed on that one.
Yeah, I failed on that one. But there were a lot of other things on there that we'd already achieved, like traveling, living in Latin America, traveling to, I think, France and Italy, different things. So there's a bunch of stuff on there. So that was cool. But then we sat down with our family, this was probably a week or two ago, and made life lists again.
For everybody.
So they all made a life list. Greg and I made new life lists. And yeah, it was very exciting because our kids loved doing that. They were just thinking of all the cool things they could do and writing them all down and looking at pictures. And
everybody loves doing it. It's so invigorating. It's so inspiring. It's so exciting. It actually brings life back to your life, and a spark and interest. So here's my list. I just printed out, did a spreadsheet on it. I put some of the big ones on there that I knew were on my list, right? That I want to do that I've already done, like going to the base camp of Mount Everest, right? And we're going back in a year from now, just less than a year from now. In September, we're going to go back
hopefully,
to Nepal.
Unless we go to Tanzania.
And then there we're going to do Kilimanjaro, which is on my list too. Like whatever. We circled Iceland, right? We drove, man. We drove from Alaska to Panama. How awesome is that? Base jumping is on here. Go to Chichen Itza and Palenque and Tikal. Hike the Inca Trail into Machu Picchu. We did that for a couple's trips. We were riding camels and sandboarding in the Sahara Desert out in the big, big dunes. Awesome, right? Other stuff is on here.
Don't just mention the ones we've done, babe.
Okay, I want to climb Cotopaxi and Chimborazo. They're mountains I have a big list of mountains here. Mount Matterhorn, Mount Fuji, the Mount of Transfiguration, Kilimanjaro, Mount Rainier, Mount Hood, Mount Huascaran, Aconcagua. Things we want to own, right? A beach house in Portugal and a chateau in the French Alps and a Frisian horse and a Harley Davidson. Oh, yeah. Read the complete works of Shakespeare, which shamefully I have not done yet. I know, forgive me, don't throw stones. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. I love Shakespeare. I got to work on that. I want to read all the Harvard classics and Story of Civilization. I want to be able to do 30 chin-ups.
Trekking in Bhutan.
Ooh, trekking in Bhutan. I want to get on all 7 continents. Haven't done that yet. I want to overland across the Silk Road. Anyways, lots and lots of fun stuff. So, and it can be stuff you want to be, stuff you want to do, stuff you want to own, stuff you want to see, stuff you want to experience, attributes you want to acquire, things you want to master. Just start making a list and put the list up where you can see it and start working through it.
There's one rule to making this list, and that is you cannot think about how you're going to do it. The only thing you're allowed to think is how it makes you feel. Do you get excited about that idea? And if you do, you put it on there.
Like going to the Cathedral of St. George in Ethiopia. It is a huge cathedral carved out of stone in the shape of a cross. The whole thing into the ground, into the stone. It is unreal, right? That lights me up. I have no idea how we're going to pull that off, but it's on my list. I will go see the Cathedral of St. George in Ethiopia. So everyone put one in. Everyone throw in a list real quick. We're going to do some coaching right now. But everyone throw something in the list. What is it? So no, there's going to be a lot of crossover between vision boards and lifestyle lists. Yep. Lots of crossover.
Well, yeah. So what's the difference between vision board and lifestyle list? I would say a vision board is something you're working on maybe in the more
short term.
Life list, just anything that excites you that you could or would want to do in your life, right? So, and then this travel. Yes, awesome.
Yeah.
But guess what?
It's got to be more
That's
specific.
not a life list. You have to be specific. Where do you want to travel? What's exciting to you? Yes, Trans-Siberian train. In fact, on my list was take the Trans-Siberian train from Beijing to Russia through Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia.
Love it.
Hang glide off the top of the Sandia Peak in
Albuquerque,
New Mexico.
So Deb,
Sweet.
make a list on your thing. I have a huge list of places I want to go and see. So do that. Make it specific. Own the Acura NSX. Nice. On mine, I have a Porsche Taycan Turbo S.
I want to go to Four Corners. Yeah.
Nice.
My mom.
Go to Four Corners. It's awesome.
Travel to Russia and live there long enough to be fluent in language. Okay.
Whoa,
specific.
Nice. There we go. That's fantastic. El Camino Santiago.
Yes, that's on our list.
Yo también quiero caminar el camino. Ahí está en mi lista. Good. If you have lots, put lots on there. Take my kids on a humanitarian trip in another country. Can I bring the younger ones to Guatemala? Yes,
sure.
If you come.
Yep.
If parents come, we can take them. And we're actually scheduling that right now. I'm working with the coordinator in Guatemala. It's going to be late March.
15th to the 19th-ish, or the week after that.
To the third or fourth week. I would like to hang glide off the top of Sandia Peak in Albuquerque.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Woo! Right, there it is. You guys dream a little bit and get these things in writing up where you can start looking at them. And here's what happens. You start looking, you're like, you know what? I think I can pull that off next month. Or you start saying, how can I pull that off? How can I get this? How can I get this? And a job opportunity will come up. An idea will pop up. You're like, oh, I think I can make it $1,000 on that, and that'll cover that trip. Right? I can fly into Mexico and hike a peak for under $1,000. And I can do some serious hustling to earn an extra $1,000. Right? Oh, I love this stuff.
Spend a winter in a remote cabin in Canada with the best books and a snowmobile.
Oh, yes, Evan. Nice, man. That one's a golden dream right there.
Oh, okay. You have an adopted son from Guatemala. Would love to bring you.
Yes, that'd be fantastic. Yeah.
Humanitarian trip with the kids to repeat the dates. So it'll either be the week of the 15th through the 19th.
Right now.
Actually, it'd be Saturday to Saturday.
Boom. So Saturday to Saturday. So it would be the 13th through the 20th or the 20th through the 27th of March.
And then if you want to stay, we're going to do a separate trip. It's not a humanitarian trip. It's a Semana Santa trip, which will be the 28th of March through like the
through
3rd,
March 3rd.
Or the 4th.
4th is actually Sunday, Easter Sunday.
Because that's going to be Semana Santa. They do all the big
Holy
parades.
Week.
It's Holy Week. They do all the big parades and
the cultural
carpets
awesomeness is unreal. Just even the carpets you do and the parades.
I think we want to hike. What's that volcano?
We're gonna hike Acatenango. I think we're gonna hike a volcano, stay overnight up there, and you watch a neighboring volcano that explodes in the night. It's epic. Yeah. Really cool.
So.
Hey, man, love this stuff. Woo!
Hang glide in Rio with hubby. Yes.
What? Nice.
Humanitarian trip with my kids.
Climb Mont Blanc. Yes, I want to do Mont Blanc. Grandfather did it. I want to connect with him that way. He's 105. That is amazing. Okay. Yeah, Mont Blanc's on my list. That is awesome. Wait a minute.
Is it on your list?
Not on my list.
Oh.
I put the Matterhorn on there, but Mont Blanc was supposed to be on there. Didn't. I'm adding it right now. Mont Blanc.
Okay. Coaching.
Okay, so coaching. Here we go. So there was a question that came in. We'll hit that one, and then we'll. If you guys have questions, you can send a private message or you just ask. So the one that came in earlier was about kind of a disagreement. It's about family systems. One spouse wants the kids to take the garbage out. The other spouse says, the kids don't have time, you do it. And there's just constant kind of going back and forth, like, well, do the kids help or don't they help? Like, how do we work through this?
Well, and I mean, kind of specifically, I asked some of the kids to take trash. So I guess there was a broken wheel that got fixed. You asked them to take it to the street. They immediately did so after the wheel was fixed. But then wife said that they were too busy and they couldn't do it. One of the children went back inside as a result, right? If I don't have to do it, because one of the parents says I don't have to do it, then I'm not going to do it. That makes sense. Kids like to do that.
And they'll look for discrepancies.
Look for that. Exactly.
They'll look for the
They'll take
loophole.
advantage of that because they're smart.
They're like, some questions my kids never come ask me.
Yeah.
Because they know what I'm going to say. Like if they want junk food, they never come ask me. Like, hey, Dad, can we make a run to Chick-fil-A? Because they know exactly what I'm going to say.
And they know I'm more of a softie, and I'll say, well, you decide. Or my aunt brought a whole bunch of apple cider donuts over. They're not going to ask Dad if they can eat them. They ask me, right? One still took a bin to the street. I took the other one. This morning it happened again. Spouse said the children are too busy and that I should be doing it because it should be one of my official chores. So not sure how to think about this so it won't be destructive to the family, and also the children can help out. The first thing that came to my mind was, and we've talked about this in our mastermind, the money mastermind for sure, is this. I have this chart that's called the the master document of how you spend your time. And it's basically this way of categorizing things. This is specifically for categorizing business activities, but it also applies directly to family life activities, especially if you work at home. So in this chart, he categorizes everything by $10 an hour. You can't see it that well. $10 an hour work, $100 an hour work, $1,000 per hour work, $10,000 per hour work. So the goal when you're running a home business is that you're always focusing on the higher value work. You should be doing $100, $1,000, $10,000 per hour work as much as possible. And what that means is you're working on the activities that are going to produce the greatest results for your business. So you should not be doing any $10 an hour work if you're working at home. In fact, $10 an hour work is like,
I would dare say, unless you actually like it and it's diffused thinking. Like if you're taking a break, you're like, I just put in 2 solid hours. I need a 10-minute break here.
So I'm gonna go pull some weeds.
I'm gonna go pull some weeds. Kind of just I'm gonna
wash the dishes.
Either you're fully engaged or you're strategically disengaged. So if it's a disengagement that's short and you like to do it. Otherwise, remove that stuff from your life. You should outsource everything you can outsource. Here's the big warning though. I gotta throw this in here. If I'm sitting around lollygagging, doing like whatever, and Rachel notices me not putting in $1,000 an hour work, guess what she's gonna be thinking? I think he should go do the dishes, is what I think. And then she's gonna be upset. She's like, get your butt and do the dishes. But if she knows I'm in here doing $1,000 or $10,000 an hour work, do you think she's going to ask me to take the garbage out, or take some clothes over to the dry cleaner? You're like, why isn't Greg mowing the lawn? Gosh, he's in there making like $1,000 an hour. He should be out mowing the lawn for $15 an hour. You see what I'm saying? So I've got to be leaning into my best work and on my A game. She'll never think he should be doing that.
So what we did with our kids is we listed out different things. This is what I do. I write marketing emails. I build web pages. I literally list all the things that you do and give it some dollar value. It doesn't have to be, whatever. Like if you make 30 or 50 or whatever you make per hour, like put that on there. But the point being, then make a list of the other stuff. Okay. Taking the trash bins out is definitely $10 or less per hour work. So is, a lot of the other chores. And then I make an emphasis. If we want our family to increase their income, I can only focus on this work. And everybody else who doesn't earn more than me needs to do the less per hour work. Does that make sense?
So
and you have to do it in a...
Let's drive this home. Should Rachel be doing laundry for a couple hours every day for 9 people? No, man, she's the mom.
I do not do the laundry.
She's not the maid.
I don't do the laundry because I earn more per hour than that. Okay, so, and I will tell my kids that. Like, you can't go write emails. You can't do all the things I do because you don't even know what I do. But you can take out the laundry or take out the trash. You can do the laundry. And if you have to have that conversation with just the kids because they're open to that, not that you're trying to go behind your wife's back or whatever, you're just trying to help them understand. If you can, have the conversation with everybody.
Diplomatically get the whole family on the same page. Now, I think what's happening is one of the spouses like, hey, man, the kids need to do their studies. They don't have time for chores. They need to do the studies. And we get that. So our kids do chores after their studies. Their chore time is in the afternoon. Studies are priority over the chores. But in a family and in a house, all the chores have to get done. And so we're all going to pull our load. So the trash, for example, it belongs to our 10-year-old. He is the trash man because that's where he's at. So that's his capability, right? And the harder stuff that he can't do goes to the teens. And so everybody has a role on this team. Because this is family life is a team sport, my friends, and everybody's got to have a role.
But often what happens is when other people in the family, spouses included, children included, don't understand what you are doing for the family. If they think you're just in there on Facebook or,
or if you are in there on
watching YouTube,
Facebook,
or you really are, then that's when there's a problem. You have to legitimately be doing the stuff that makes a difference, and then you have to let them know that you're doing that. I'm writing an email, or I'm doing this, or I'm, making a website, or I'm taking a marketing course, whatever it is you're doing, like be specific about that and how that benefits them. So then they're more willing to do the other stuff.
Can I
that
throw
as
something
a
in here?
result you shouldn't be doing.
I want you to write this down. You guys know what the sexiest thing in the world is? Results. Results, man. Get the results. And your spouse will be like, whatever you say, babe. Woo! Right? Get results. If Rachel's in there just lollygagging, she's not doing anything, she's sitting on the couch watching Netflix, and she's like, why don't you do more? Then I'm going to be like, why don't you do more, woman? And we start getting resentful. We start arguing. The systems don't work, right? But if she's crushing it, I'm crushing it, the kids are crushing it. Results, man, they are sexy. And it's easy to work through things and figure out systems because we're getting results. So if there has been a discrepancy in your reputation and credibility with your spouse, and again, I'm talking to everybody. I'm not talking to the person that asked the question here, but you're included, obviously. We're all included. I'm included. I'm going to be able to be more persuasive and influential with Rachel and our family when they see me getting results. They need to look at me and see the symptoms of success. My kids will listen because they see me crushing it. When I pull off my shirt to go jump in the pool with them and they see a six-pack, guess who's going to listen to health advice from dad? Right? You know what I'm talking about? Just an example. But like, they want to see results.
So which is why this question is good, because it follows up. Well, what if what you're doing isn't showing any fruits, i.e. money? Well, the very first thing I do is I ask myself, why? Why is what I'm doing not producing the results I want, like money? That's where I have to start. I have to ask myself, why am I not getting the results? Is it a case of I've planted the tree and I'm waiting for the fruit to produce? Or did I forget to water it? Or am I actually scrolling on Instagram? Or am I actually, I sit down to work, but I end up on YouTube? You have to figure out, why am I not getting the results? And if you're legitimately doing the work and you're following a system that you know will work, and you'll know that because you see someone else who succeeded and you're copying their system, modeling their system, then it's a matter of time. And you explain that. You're like, guys, this is what I'm doing. This person did it. Here's the proof. It works. I know it works. I planted and I'm waiting for it to produce.
I'm putting in the upfront
But I have
work.
to keep watering it. I have to keep fertilizing it. I have to keep working on it. I can't neglect it or it will die. So in order for it to not die, you have to do this stuff. Okay?
Let me give you a perfect example of that. Rachel will write emails and she'll send out an email and it's not like, oh, there's the money off that email. She writes emails and it could be months later or years later, the money comes in big time off that, right? And so it's not always immediate, but I know she's doing great work and she's leveling up. She's doing training. She's working hard. For a lot of us, my friends, if I can coach here, you're not doing the most meaningful work. When you put in hours, they need to be hours that count, that move the needle. And it needs to be massive action. The bulk of your hours ought to be around revenue generation. Like, are you generating revenue? So I know this is my money stuff. This is more for the money mastermind group. But is the work you're doing generating revenue? Done. So I did this for years, you guys. I was doing the $10 an hour stuff. I spent hours and hours trying to pick out a logo and the right business cards and getting I need a desk.
Or you're like, I need to go to the store and buy some more paper clips.
Yeah, you're out running errands for your business.
That's not working.
And sometimes you're telling yourself, I'm working. No, you're not.
You're checking your emails. That's not working.
You're actually avoiding
work. You have to actually work. You have to do the work that matters. And if you don't know results, if you don't know what the work is that matters, well, that's a problem. You have to figure out what is the work that matters for your business. Here's another thing. I echo Miriam's question. 2 jobs, 4 side gigs, more debt than ever. It might be that something you're doing is not working. Sometimes doing more stuff is not the answer. Sometimes just doing what matters and what makes a difference is what makes a difference. You have to know what that is.
And if you need specifics, I'm just going to throw this out there. Sign up for a one-on-one session with me, and we'll look exactly at revenue generation. And I'll say, I've sat down with enough business owners. I'll sit down and be like, this is specifically what you need to do. And then you have to go do it. Create the results. Like, get stuff done.
Greg has several clients that are, they're doing really well because of coaching with him. They've had their biggest months ever.
So yeah, one of my clients had this last month because we've been working together. He had his record month in his entire career, his entire life, with a lot of money. Another one of my clients, he in the last few months has raised his personal income by like 20 or 30 grand a month, just in the last few months, because of strategies. We just talk through. He and I get through and talk through strategies. I'm like, try this, try that. He's doing it. He's like, holy crap. He's like, that was an extra 20 grand last month because of that strategy. I'm like, bling, it works. Let's go. And you just strategize regularly and we follow up. Accountability. Try this. He does it, comes back. This didn't work. Try that. Tweak this, do that. Comes back. Whoa, that worked. Holy cow, right? It just works. But you got to work on the right things and you got to do the work. The strategy will work when you do. Write that down. These strategies will work when I do. And it's all about results, my friend. You got to get the results. Okay, that was a different question. So next coaching one here. These two go together.
Okay.
So I have a child who lies and is generally untrustworthy. 15. And run out of ideas to train him out of this.
Mm-hmm.
For example, he's a swimmer. Money coach had to leave early and left the workout on the board. Swimmers immediately left the workout pool and played the rest of the time. He told me he did the workout, but I was walking outside and could see they were not working out. Excellent, excellent question.
Mm-hmm.
An example. Kids will sometimes be dishonest. I remember Brian, when Rachel and I very first adopted, we started studying parenting. And I got this course by Brian Tracy about parenting. It's an excellent course. I can highly recommend it. And we have some parenting courses as well about parent mentoring, especially around teens and setting up systems. So there's some unbelievable resources in that course, the parent mentor training course. But Brian Tracy said he caught his son lying to him. He's like, Michael, that's a bull-faced lie. You lied right to my face. Why did you do that? And his son was like, I don't know, just to see if it would work, right? I remember him telling that story. I'm like, what? And sometimes kids will just lie just to see if it works. And sometimes they keep lying because it actually does work. And then he said this: if your children are afraid to tell you the truth, Who has made them afraid? What?
Now,
Whoa, hold on. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. I want that single. That's not true for everybody because there are some other issues. There are some exceptions. But for the most part, if your kids are afraid to tell you the truth, who has made them afraid? And so we early on said, man, you won't get in trouble for telling us the truth. But man, there will be trouble when you lie. And we've had to keep that and keep our cool. If they told us the truth, they come in and say, hey, I did this. And you're like, thank you for telling me the truth. You're not in trouble for telling me the truth. Now, you were going to say an exception.
well, I was going to also add that on the other side of that, if there is ongoing lying, yes, definitely look at those aspects of it. But one thing we've also learned is that you also need to consider and we've talked about this before, the biology. And you might think, what? How does that even play a part? But we've had personal experience with this, that the biology and the neurobiology can have a direct impact or effect or be a cause of behavior like this. So sometimes that's something to consider.
What she means by that, there can be literal misfirings or literal miswirings in the brain that cause chronic misbehavior, including dishonesty.
And sometimes the child might not even be, because of that, they might not be fully aware of, one, that they are lying, or that sometimes it's just not completely accurate, but they're not aware of that. Or
they may
even
really
view it a different way. They might be like, well, yeah, I did finish the workout and then I was playing, or whatever. Like in their minds, they fulfilled whatever the requirement was, but in your mind, it was a different thing, right? If that makes sense. Like they were like, oh, this is the requirement and I did that. Then you're like, no, this is really the requirement. And then you think it's like, this has happened to us, where you think this is a lie, but really
it's their interpretation.
So it's not a lie, it's just they're interpreting it differently. So that's one part of it.
And as we work through that, we have one child in particular that struggles with this. As we work through that and tried to understand, we realized, oh, the child thinks very differently than we do. And we have to understand where that person is cognitively before we can pass judgment on what has happened. Who's with me on that? Your kids are all going to be different. And I've talked to multiple of you about your kids, and each of your children is different. And each of them has different cognitive abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And so you might want to get that assessed. There might be some biological things that are off. There might be some psychology things that are off. There might be some emotional things that are off. Some deep insecurities and issues. And so they lie or exaggerate a lot to try to compensate for that.
Or again, they're interpreting things differently. So in their mind, it's not a lie. It's just a different interpretation. It seems like, I don't know, semantics or something, but they interpret it this way. And so I fulfilled that, which means I did it, which means when I tell you I did it, I'm not lying. That's the truth. When your interpretation is this, and so it's not matching up. So that's the case sometimes that either. So there's some other comments.
Great comments going. Take the time to figure out what your child is believing that's not true, right? Mm-hmm. Which is awesome. I want to say this too. If a child is chronically lying, they clearly do not understand why they shouldn't lie or why they should tell the truth.
Or they are afraid of telling the truth because of the feared response or consequences that happen. Now, like the approach we always take with consequences is like they're going to be natural. If you don't do your workout at swimming, well, the natural consequences, you're not going to be as good. Done. You're not going to win. You're not going to, whatever your goal is with swimming, like you're not going to reach it if you don't do it. So I honestly don't care if they do the workout or not. Does that make sense in that instance? I honestly could care less. It's their choice. Now I might have a conversation with them of like, well, what do you actually want to achieve with swimming? Like, what's your goal? Are you just doing it for fun? Are you doing it for exercise? What's the goal? If they're reaching their goal, their personal goal in swimming, okay, that's enough. So sometimes it's these misaligned expectations of the kid is trying to do one thing and we want them to do something else. And so if they don't do it, there's this whole dynamic going on here that doesn't need to be there, that's resulting in, I'm going to tell lies because mom can't deal with me
not caring about
swimming.
This is an example. Again, we're not talking specifically to you. We're just throwing out scenarios here with the example.
If that whole dynamic is going on, then it's almost in a way forcing them to lie because they don't know how to cognitively talk you through not caring about what they don't care about, as an example.
So this will come up a lot if you're trying to live your dream through your kids. You have this dream of your kid being a gymnast and the kid hates gymnastics. There's going to be friction and dishonesty and all kinds of problems there that's being forced.
We're talking through a lot of different scenarios here because we don't know the exact scenario or exactly why the child is doing this. But these are a lot of different possibilities. There's misaligned expectations, there's misaligned goals. You want something they don't want. All these different things could be going on.
Okay, more great comments. My 19-year-old this year just realized that we are not the enemy. We've always just been trying to help and support. Make sure that's clear. That comes up with one of our children as well. I just have to constantly keep reminding, like, hey, we're on the same team here. We're on the same team. Everything we want for you is for your benefit. We're on the same team.
And
we're on the same team.
I like to say this all the time. The prefrontal cortex is not fully developed until the age of 25. So we have to remember that with our teens. I had a child who would always argue with me. If I said it was a nice blue sky day, he would say, no, it's not. It has a white cloud. It was super frustrating until I realized that he was so literal. It drove him nuts when I said something that wasn't exactly as he saw it. Yes. Realizing how he was interpreting things made a huge difference in our relationship. Yes.
Beautiful.
Exactly. And that's one of the things. Like, we don't have to take any of it personally. If our kids disagree with us, okay, great. That's your opinion. It reminds me of the blind men and the elephant. You guys know that parable where all these 4 blind men go up to an elephant and they're all feeling it and they're like, oh, it's like a rope. No, it's not. It's like a
tree trunk.
Well, no, it's like a big wall. Like, they were all right? But they were just getting it from their own experience, their own perspective. So that is possible for both of us to be right, our kid and us, based on our own personal experience and perspective, right? We have to leave that open of trying to see, okay, how could they be right in this point? They're not lying, they're telling me the truth. How could that be the case? As another possibility. Again, we don't know the exact circumstances.
So more comments here. The insecurity one may be very close to home. That's true, my friends, for both our children and for us. We each have insecurities. And sometimes our insecurities get played out on our kids and our interpretation. Maybe we're seeing things wrong because of our own insecurities. Or maybe they have insecurities that they're playing out. So work through those, be cognizant of that, and just analyze yourself. Like, why do I feel so emotionally tied to this?
Yeah.
It might be an insecurity you're hiding or a mask you have or something you're afraid of. You've done some emotional stacking and you have a lot of emotional sensitivity around something. Maybe you're hypersensitive about it. And it's not the issue. It's not the thing. It's something else. It's the meaning you're giving.
And that's the case anytime. Every single time you get emotionally, we call it triggered by something happens and it brings up a lot of emotion in you, whether that's anger or frustration or irritation or annoyance, whatever it is, that's a clue. Pay attention to that. That's a clue. It's not necessarily about the thing that's happening, but it's about what it represents to you. Okay? So like she's being added on, more expounding here is, it takes a lot of my time and money for the swimming. Okay. So then the deeper issue is
there's a lot of meaning attached to that.
You have this idea that you don't have enough time and money, right? I've talked about this in our mastermind before. One of my affirmations, I have more than enough time and money for everything I want and need to do. If, like, this is something you have to work through. The real issue is not necessarily the lying. The real issue is I'm feeling stressed about time and money, and I feel like they're not getting the full benefit out of it by fully engaging in the swimming and getting all the training. Right?
Or let me give a kind of a separate lateral thing here. Or you have an idea of what all your time and money should be worth and what it means to you, and you have these expectations. If I pay this and I give my time and money, then these are the expectations I have, where your child might have totally different expectations.
Kind of
they might be going to gymnastics and just for kicks and giggles and fun. And I'm like, no, man, I'm making sacrifices. I'm spending all this money on this time. I want you to be fantastic at this. And she's like, I don't want to be fantastic at this. And we've never talked through it. So I talk through it with my kids. I literally articulate everything I'm thinking. So I'm like, hey guys, so here's the exact cost for us to go to Krav Maga. And we're going to go 3 to 4 times a week. And we're going to be there. And if I'm going to pay for this and we're going to commit to it with time and money, then, and I ask them, what should we all expect from each other? And what should we expect from ourselves? And I have them volunteer it. They come up with the ideas and expectations, not me. Because if I tell them, it doesn't mean as much as if they tell me.
Exactly.
So I'm like, guys, what are your expectations of yourself for Krav Maga, for example, or for parkour, or for guitar lessons, or piano lessons, or voice lessons?
And we even tied into like, how are you going to show your appreciation for us paying for these lessons? And is it really worth it to you? Like, we're willing to pay this much.
Are you willing to put in this effort?
Does it matter that much to you for us to pay that? And if sometimes it doesn't, and in that case, okay, don't do it. And that's kind of like, I would recommend that's a conversation you have. What does this child want out of swimming?
And what do you want out of swimming?
If what they want is not what you want, is it still worth your investment of time and money? And if it's not, then either maybe they pay for it themselves, they get a ride, like you find other alternatives so it doesn't then become an issue.
So through a really tactful conversation, I would say, my time and money is worth this much effort. Is that worth it to you? And if the child's like, nope, and then we're out. I mean, we work a different scenario. If they're like, yeah, I'll put that in, then I'll say, may I hold you accountable to that? Can we do some evaluation? Can we measure that? Can we work through that? And we'll work through it together. There's not going to be any conflict here. We're going to remove all conflict. Can we work that together? And like, yeah. So then everything's clear, and that child has no incentive whatever to lie to me about it or be dishonest or fight me about it, because we're clear on what we both expect and what the exchange rate is. So hopefully that's helpful. We got to wrap up. We've been here almost 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Woo! We got to go get some food, people, before Rachel gets hangry.
That's right.
Okay, we love you guys. This is the best. Great stuff. We had a chance to level up, go after it. Did this with my daughter. The result was her doing less of her sport and paying for some of it herself. Fantastic. Yeah, exactly. Just work through those things. There are a lot of situations with your spouse and with your kids that when you step back, you realize you're actually creating those things.
Well,
it's extreme ownership. Like, you can work through it and realize I can remove this source of contention.
And I want to emphasize just one last thing here. Every behavior problem with our kids, lying included, it's not really about what it's about. It's not really about the lie. The lie is only a symptom of a deeper issue. There's something else that's going on, whether it's biological or some, misunderstanding with expectations. It's just a symptom of something else. So when we can get to the root of the problem and fix that, then the lying disappears, right?
Because there's no need to lie. You remove the cause and the need and the incentive to lie. Love it. Love it, you guys. Okay, lifestyle. Go after it. Create the lifestyle you want and make it happen. Love you guys. Do the best. Reach upward.